Now, face the mighty bison.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're taking another look at Harada's tweets. He's been given a lot of good information, and I've been doing my best to break down all of it, from Heihachi to Reina to Ogre. This video we're going to be talking largely about Jinpachi. Now, as a side note, I do want to say that some people are upset that Harada is spending a lot of time explaining this stuff, and I get it. Season 2 is not good. Like, I don't play much of Season 2, but I don't think that Harada can't explain stuff on Twitter. To pretend that he is supposed to spend 24 hours of the day balancing Tekken, like he has a team for that. We know Nakatsu does balancing. Harada is kind of the leadership point in giving guidance. So I think a lot of those people who are upset at him for that is kind of like wild. But it is kind of getting to Harada because, as you can see here with this tweet, someone asked him to drop a list of the character's favorite food, and he says, I could upload it, but I knew it would get a lot of complaints like, if you have time for this, you should be, and then basically balancing the game, doing something else. So I decided to just DM you instead. So you can see here that like a lot of the people who are in the responses complaining and crying to Harada, it is having a different type of effect. And this is something that I tried to highlight, is like these tweets that we get from Harada where he's talking about all the lower end characters, even if it is a little silly, even if it is a little goofy, I mean, I appreciate it nonetheless. But with all the people complaining, I mean, this era will come to an end really soon. Now, where we pick up with the Mishimas is this one, when it says, will Lars ever get the happy Mishima family he dreams about? I guess you could say this about all the Mishimas. Jin, Lars, does Lee dream about family, or does he only dream about robots and women? Harada says, I don't think he has much of a sense of belonging to the Mishima family. At this point, what is the Mishima family? Jin and Kazuya try to kill each other. Reina, she wants to kill everyone. Lars wanted to kill Jin at one point, but he only has faith in Jin for the moment. Like, Heihachi doesn't care. What is this family? What is the future for them? We know that they can live upwards of 100 years. Jin is currently 20. Heihachi is about 80. Kazuya is 50. These guys never die, and it seems like they will just fight forever. The more you think about it, bringing back Heihachi is seeming to be a mistake. But when you talk about bringing back Jinpachi, question mark? Someone says, can Jinpachi make a return in modern Tekken games? I love that he says modern because there is a divide. You have the legacy Tekken, which is like we were having a discussion about what is legacy and what is modern. And basically the description is everything that's not current is legacy. So Tekken Tag 2, Tekken 6, all of those are basically legacy Tekken games at this point because it's the past. And then Tekken 7 and Tekken 8 are the ones that's really driving the series forward. So does Jinpachi has any stake in this era? I don't know. But Harada says in response to this, if there are many requests, it is possible. I like that he says this because it does give player hope, and it shows players that they should continue to request these things. But the thing is that like as time goes on, less and less players know who these characters are. Like he said that about Alex, he said that about Baek-Doo-san, he said that about Wang. A lot of these characters just haven't shown up in a meaningful way in over 10, 15 years. That's a long time. Now, I'm not saying that you can't bring them back and they'd be really successful. I mean, look at Armor King, look at, many different type of characters, right? It's a possibility to change, but is that possibility true and present for all of those characters? That's where it gets dicey. But Jinpachi, I love Jinpachi. Responded to someone who was talking about the physical strength of Reina and the female characters. Aren't you the one understanding the power of fusing the devil gene with a human? Don't you dare look down on the women of the Mishima clan. Someone says, no, seriously, Harada, some of us want strong, muscular women. We're not asking for Marissa Street Fighter 6 here. Harada says, no, the existence of that kind of request and the discussion about Reina's character settings are two completely separate matters. Mixing them together just to push your own preference doesn't make sense. Of course, there is such requests. There are a lot of kinds of people, so it's only natural that this kind of demand exists. It's not some rare, unheard of need. Nobody's going to be shocked and say, really? I have no idea people wanted that. Anyways, discussion about character designs and individual personal preference are fundamentally different topics. Please keep them separate. That said, if we're talking about character preference, I'd say Lydia from Tekken already represents a pretty ideal muscular body type. Trying to change her outfit in customization mode, take a good look. You'll see what I mean. And this is what I was going to say, right? The players have already pushed for this idea of a strong female character. And then at the height of that, they gave us Lydia. And the players were very satisfied. But for some reason, Lydia fell off hard in Tekken 8. And I mean, she fell off hard. And now people are once again requesting a new, different type of muscular female character. And is that fair to the developers? Me personally, I don't know. Also, I think Reina kind of fits this build as well. She's not as strong, visually as Lydia, but she is still strong personality-wise. And I think the developers are doing a good job of differentiating their female characters, at least with Tekken 8. Asuna and Reina is very different from the characters of Tekken 7, in my opinion. Now, when we dive deep into the lore about Jinpachi Mishima, someone says, Harada-san, how was the relationship between Jinpachi and Heihachi growing up? What went wrong between them that fundamentally changed Heihachi? Harada says, since Jinpachi walked the path of a martial artist, he taught Heihachi both the correct way of martial arts and its techniques. However, Heihachi's ambition was incredibly strong. He sought to further expand the power of the Mishima Zaibatsu and his own personal influence. Eventually, he went so far to imprison Jinpachi underground. Sadly, it seems that Jinpachi's teachings had little effect on shaping Heihachi's character. So Heihachi was just rotten to the core, and there was nothing Jinpachi could do about that. He also realized it very, very late. Incidentally, most of the storyline was written in 1990s. The foundational narratives for characters were mainly developed by myself. Regarding Heihachi, Komoto often spoke about how his transformation was not due to the devil gene, but rather through a traditional Japanese form of vengeful spirit power. As for me, I often explored the idea of parent-child relationships that go beyond rivalries and escalate into deep-seated hatred, something uniquely portrayed in Japanese narratives. Stopping there and talking about why he initially tried to kill off or wanted to kill off Heihachi, it was because he felt that the rivalry between the Mishimas have become too brutal. Like, there's literally videos that I made, there's news articles, the wiki says it. He just felt that the rivalry between the Mishimas, it was just too brutal and he wanted to do something different. But I guess he changed his mind because Heihachi is back and the rivalry seems to be more alive than ever. Harada goes on to say there was a specific real life model for a family dynamic in Tekken. Both Komoto and I had very good relationship with our parents. I remember us saying precisely because we come from healthy family relationships, it's more interesting to depict the complete opposite in the game. So I think this is a little bit of revision here from Harada, because I remember that Harada, and I'm not trying to tell him that his relationship wasn't good or bad. I'm just telling you guys what I read before about what Harada said about his parents in the past. He said that his father was very tough on him. He came from World War II era, and that was what inspired the character Heihachi. But now he is kind of like saying other things that, his father was actually really good to him. His parents was really good to him, but he wanted to portray that what some people may be experiencing. He wanted to portray the opposite. One thing about Tekken 8, I do think it's interesting how they gave us a glimpse into the origins of the Mishima Zaibatsu. They showed them back in the samurai days where they used to fight demons and onis, and then they had like all of these different traditions. We know that they also exorcist demons. That's something that Tekken 8 told us. I wish we could get like a full narrative though. We get these little bits of information. Oh, they exorcist demons. Oh, they're samurai. Oh, they're this. Oh, they're good. Like, put all of this together in one cohesive story so we can understand it from start to beginning. I mean, do they need to do a movie? Do they need to do a comic? Do they need to do a book? What can they do to give us a cohesive story First, let's just talk about on the Mishimas, but then you can start tackling side characters, like a start to end on characters like Steve Fox, his whole experiment, King, his whole journey, Yoshimitsu, his lore was expanded as well. We went from knowing about just the Manji clan and how Yoshimitsu's the head of that, but Tekken 8 told us that there is like people like elders kind of like not above him, but there's elders that he turned to for like advice and feedback. Like put all of this stuff into I really think they should do like a comic or some type of like book. There's a lot of information here, but it's so scattered and players want to understand, but there's currently no way to do it.